I know this isn't everybody's favorite topic, but it's something we need to talk about, and it's something that we need to learn to appreciate because we are literal powerhouse machines. We are building new organs. We are creating more blood. We are fueling our bodies with things that it literally needs in order to create a new human. And with that comes some weight gain. Now, there's actually quite a rhythm to knowing what kind of weight gain you can somewhat expect and where is that weight going and what is it building. So let's break it all down. In my previous videos, I've talked about the importance of knowing your own vitals and knowing your own baselines, and not only knowing them, but also keeping track of them. And that could be in a binder, it could be in a notes tab in your phone, it could be in a fancy app. We are in the digital world, but you need some way to know where you start and to track where you go throughout that pregnancy process. One of my favorite ways, I like to just keep it in my phone because our phones tend to be with us all the time, with the information that I want you to be keeping track of. One of those things is, what is your weight at the very beginning of pregnancy? So pretty much right when you figure it out, or before you even find out you're pregnant, where are you starting out? What is your general weight? And for most of us, it stays pretty consistent. We want that consistent weight. Our body likes what's called homeostasis. It likes to kind of be in this comfort zone. So for most of us, we've kind of been there for a minute. I want you to write that number down, and then using that number from your initial start date, I want you to figure out what is your BMI. BMI can sometimes, it's not the end all be all. You know, I don't rely on it too heavily because there are so many factors that come into play when it comes to evaluating our health and evaluating where we are. But when it comes to pregnancy weight gain, I do feel like BMI can play a really good role in helping to give you an idea of kind of what to expect or where your body might be going. And it can just help you get a more, cohesive number to help you track that progress as you go throughout pregnancy. Yeah. Based on that number you came up with, what can you kind of expect in terms of kind of normal or average pregnancy weight gain based off of that number? Now, again, everybody doesn't fit into a box. We want to be gaining weight, but we also don't want to be gaining way too much, and we don't want to be gaining way too little. We want to, I'm not a fan of overthinking and, over obsessing on weight at all. But I do think we need to kind of find a rhythm. And during my own pregnancies and during, pregnancies that I've worked on with other women, I do find that the more you're kind of in tune with what that rhythm looks like and where it is that you're going, it can help set your mind at ease that you are building these important things and you're building these crucial organs and blood and like literally a new human, and that you need to learn to love that weight gain and come to peace with it. Now that we have somewhat of an idea of what to expect, let's talk about where that weight is going to go. On average, our uterus alone gains 2 to 5 pounds. Blood supply, we gain on average 4 pounds. Think about that, guys. Like, you are creating an extra 4 pounds of blood within your body. If that doesn't fascinate you, then I don't know what does, because I think that is just mind-blowing. Amniotic fluid, we're looking at 2 to 3 pounds. Fat stores, we're looking at 5 to 9 pounds roughly, and you're going to need those fat stores. Placenta, 1 to 2 pounds. Breast tissue, 2 to 3 pounds. And I've talked in some previous videos about the importance of making sure your bra is fitting well. Not only are you gaining more breast tissue, so you might need to go up 1 or 2 cup sizes or even more depending on your situation, but you also need to take into account the circumference of your bra and change it sooner rather than later. The second you start to feel like you're struggling to breathe and there's too much pressure on your chest, go up a size or buy some extensions that you can add to your already existing bra so that you can breathe really well. So breast tissue, 2 to 3 pounds. And then we have a baby in there, guys. We've got a baby, and on average, we're looking at between 6 to 9 pounds. We all know people who have had smaller babies and who have had much bigger babies, so they're always going to fluctuate. But that also plays into that weight gain that you're seeing on the scale. It's literally an extra human you are building. If getting on the scale is giving you anxiety, don't get on the scale every week. Maybe just get on it every couple weeks. See where you are in terms of progress. Are we gaining too much too fast? Or are we losing too much compared to what we should be doing? The most important part is that you need to make sure you're eating plenty of food. You need to eat. This is a time where we don't cut back. We don't restrict. We do need to restrict the sweets. We have to be careful about what it is we are eating, but we don't restrict eating in general. I want you to learn to appreciate that weight gain and not be fearful of it and not be afraid to eat food. But we do want to lean into foods that are actually good for our body. Personally, I try to really prioritize protein. I try to prioritize foods that keep my blood glucose stable. I've talked about this in some of my testing videos. If you haven't watched those, go check those out. But I like to eat foods where I can eat a lot of things, but my blood sugar is not spiking through the roof. And when that happens, it helps our body be more stable. It helps our emotions and our hormones be more stable. And it helps us to not have those big crashes throughout the day where you feel like your energy is just wiped out. And I think all of this dramatically plays into helping us have that more balanced weight gain. That way we can be eating plenty of foods, but we're not eating foods that are racking on, too much weight too fast in the wrong manner. But again, don't overthink it. If you want a sweet, have the sweet. But you also need to be thinking about, is this going to help my blood sugar? What are some ways that I can balance my blood sugar better when I am leaning into eating these sweets? These are just all things that we kind of want to keep in the front of our mind. Even while we're thinking about those things, that we shouldn't be eating necessarily. We all do it. I hope this video brought you a little bit more clarity on what to expect when it comes to weight gain, where that weight is strategically going, and why we need to learn to be friends with the process, to have grace with ourselves, and to know that this is all part of this beautiful process of building a human, or more than one humans, depending on your situation. So when you're having those days where none of your clothes fit and you just don't feel yourself in the body that you are currently in, remind yourself of all the amazing things that your body is creating, of all the things that you are building, and the purpose behind all of this. And know that it is perfectly fine to put on some weight right now.